All right, Shalom. Giving all praise, glory, and honors unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 resident hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, the priest, Design One from GMS Atlanta. Back with another edifying video. And the Motb is on the way. The Motb, which is the mark of the beast, which is a prophecy found in Revelation, the 13th chapter, 16th verse, 17th verse, 18th verse. Their prophecy is surely coming to pass. Let me do this. Let me read the scriptures. Let's go to that. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And it reads, it says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name." Now the key point that I want to point out here is the 16th verse, where it says, "And he causeth." There will be a mandatory requirement to receive the Motb, the mark. Whether you're small or great person, whether you're a rich person, whether you're a poor person, right? Now this is talking about individuals, people, groups of people. Whether you're free, whether you're bond or in prison, you will have to get the Motb. Whether they put it inside of your right hand or inside of your brain, your forehead, which behind your forehead is your motor cortexes, your frontal lobe, and that is what allows the paraplegic to move. It's actually what allows every human to move. When you're paraplegic, you can move if you get the Neuralink in your brain that will connect to your motor cortex, allowing you to, think, command the computer screen to search the web, like that, things like that, okay? And eventually, they want to bring it back to where you can move. They got exoskeletons attached to your brain, which allows you to move and function and use your body. So the key point is where it says here, rich and poor, right? And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right? So that means there has to be a system set up that the mark will utilize in order for the rich and the poor, small and the great, in order for them to buy and sell in the new world that the beast will create. So now let's go from here back to the article here. And I'm going to show you something. It says DIATF certified vouchsafe raises 1 million euros to address identity poverty with biometrics. Remember what the prophecy said? Rich and poor. Poor coincides with being in poverty. All right? Now I'm going to jump into it. It says UK biometric identity verification provider, going back to digital IDs, Vouchsafe has announced closure on an oversubscribed 1 million euro or $1.3 million pre-seed funding round led by Tech for Good VC Bethnal Green Ventures with support from Innovatrix startup incubator Biometric Ventures. Fuel Ventures, SeedX Liechtenstein, and angel investor Andrew Chevis, CEO of Citizen Card, also participated, according to a post announcing the win. Now check this out. All right, so pretty much certain vendors are now going to set up a system for biometric citizen identification, right, over there in the UK. And these are the different vendors and companies and people that are involved. It says, with this funding, things get really exciting, the post says. Now we can take on ID poverty, hence the MOTB, rich and poor. You're going to have to, now the poor will be able to get an ID, but it will be a biometric ID. Check it out. Now we can take on ID poverty, the inability to prove who you are at scale, and push vouchsafe to the forefront of identity verification and fraud prevention. Right now, identity verification is leaving millions behind while fraudsters race ahead. So they want to combat identity fraud, and they want to combat those that don't have IDs, such as the homeless, especially over here in the U.S. There's a lot of homeless that don't have their paperwork. They may not be able to get access to their Social Security number, their birth certificate. You know, cops roll up on them. The bobbies roll up on them, right? Or the cops, and they don't have any card, they don't have any paperwork, no ID, you know. So they'll, take them in, book them in the system as a John Doe or whatever, and you get what? Free room and board over the weekend, 3 days, right? Type of situation. All right. That was just a situation example. But the point is, you have people that don't have IDs and they're not in the government system. Okay? It says right now, identity verification is leaving millions behind while fraudsters race ahead. You also got those that take advantage of the system. We deserve a system that protects everyone, not just those with perfect paperwork. This is where the cause of all, rich and poor, free and bond, small and great comes in at. Okay? Vouchsafe's biometric vouching service was certified for the UK's digital identity and attributes trust framework by the age. Okay, let me read that again. Vouchsafe's biometric vouching service was certified for the UK's digital identity and attributes trust framework, which is the DIATF that I read up here, right? DIATF. It says, by the age certification scheme in February, the company is already working with Scott Account to help onboard users without photo IDs, an estimated 1 million people. The funding will be funneled into new features such as alerts, smart lookups, and more ways for people to prove who they are, including new and rare kinds of evidence. So, if you're a poor person over there in the UK, you don't have paperwork, you don't have an ID, not even a passport, they're setting up this vouchsafe system, which is a biometric service, to get you a digital ID. This digital ID will be attached to an overall governmental system that will support all your different information, whether it be your name, address, birth certificate, medical records. And that same system, once it's in place, it will allow this prophecy, Revelation 13:16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, those without the information, the documents, the paperwork, the IDs, all right, free and bond, prisoners, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. This is the MOTB system. This is why I'm constantly doing these videos. I do at least 3 or 4 videos a week on this topic because there's so much information that's coming out. You know, if you pay attention to biometrics, then you can see where the MOTB, the implant, will make its play at. You know, the micro CF. You know, you got these different Israelite leaders out here, such as the Bishop Nathaniel of the IUIC, General Yohana, that are paid off by the elites of this world, the wicked ones behind the scenes, to speak against the truth because they don't want to be exposed for being a part of Bible prophecy in a manner that leads to destruction. They don't want to be exposed as the Edomites, right? And if they tell you, and then they say, well, you can keep your doctrine, but just don't tell them about this prophecy here, because that is what they need in order to get everybody in their New World Order and their agenda lined up, you know, hook, line, and sinker. So then it wouldn't even matter if you're called of Islam or not. They got you. So you have blind leaders of the blind. You have false prophets, false leaders out there that are speaking against what GMS, Great Millstone, has been saying, starting with our apostles and bishops, you know, teaching this word, teaching this breakdown, that the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is the microchip implant. We've been telling you this for years. And if you've been paying attention, all right, if you have eyes that can see, you know, the spiritual eye salve that Yahweh Shai, all right, gives us, which another thing, these groups don't push Yahweh Shai. ISUPK and IUIC push Christ. Although the ISUPK, they do speak on Yahweh Shai and Yahweh, but they don't really push it. You know, they say Christ. All their interviews and public appearances, Christ this and Christ that, especially with the IUIC. They have Christ in their name, Israel United in Christ. Well, they're going to be, all of them are going to be Israelites destroyed if they don't get their act together. Or they don't teach what GMS teaches. Yes, GMS is the premier men when it comes to the authority of teaching His word. The Heavenly Father set up prophets. Now, you may not believe that. That's fine, but hey, that's on you. Somebody has to be right, you know? Because all the evidence, just this article alone, points to, if you don't have an ID, and this is just over here in the UK, if you don't have the proper paperwork and an ID, if you're in poverty, if you're poor, if you don't have access to certain services, we'll set you up with a biometric, government-issued digital identification card, right, at first. We just really need you in the system. And then once the mandate for the implant is set in place, then all you have to do is line up, maybe at a hospital, maybe at a authorized tattoo parlor, or you know, some pull up, you know, like they did with the testing, the C19 testing. Pull up under a tent and they'll give you the implant. But first, the system has to be in place. The infrastructure, the digital infrastructure, the logistics and the digital highway of the MOTB has to be set up globe-wide, planet-wide, worldwide. Then they can introduce the implant. You know, and they're close because it's a part of prophecy. Okay? This is what we've been warning you about for all these years. All right? The proof is in the pudding. How are you going to you know, with sin? Here it is. The IUIC says the MOTB is sin. And the IGPK says it's sleeping with white women, which is supposed to be a sin. If it's a sin, how are you supposed to buy and sell with sin? You know, you go to Kroger or Walmart, you know, and you check out your groceries and the cashier says, did you sin today? That doesn't make sense. You can say, yeah, I sinned. Yeah, especially with these YNs these days. Oh, yeah, I murdered somebody. I caught a body. I settled a score with one of my ops. Okay, here's a bag of Takis. Here you are. Here's your groceries. Here's some apples and oranges and a pack of chicken. No, it's not sin. It doesn't make sense to be sin. You can't buy or sell with sin. It will have to be, the mark will have to be the implant. The MOTB will have to be the biometric implant, which is tied to a system that they can physically monitor. Right? Even Bishop Nathaniel knows the MOTB is the Greek. The mark in the Greek is the word charagma, which is something physical, cut and engraved under your skin. So once they have this biometric system in place, that's all they got to do. Give you the implant, which will mark you. Okay, he has the mark. He's identified. It's all about identification, digital identification. But anyway, with that, I hope this is edifying. To the next video, I'll say shalom.